All right, we'll pick up where we left off in chapter 2. Yes, sir. Still have a couple. Hey, I need you to go get my brown towel off the chair for me in the kitchen, please, sir. We got quite a few pages left. Probably no one but a soldier would have answered such a call promptly. And indeed, no one but a soldier could be called, for Congress had appropriated no money for salaries and expenses. Less than a month after the weary emancipator passed to his rest, his successor assigned Major General Oliver O. Howard to duty as commissioner of the new bureau. He was a Maine man, then only 35 years of age. He had marched with Sherman to the sea, had fought well at Gettysburg, and but the year before had been assigned to the command of the Department of Tennessee. An honest man with too much faith in human nature, little aptitude for business, and intricate detail. He had large opportunity of becoming acquainted at first hand with much of the work before him. And at that work, it has been truly said that no approximately correct history of civilization can ever be written, which does not throw out the bold relief as one of the great landmarks of political and social progress, the organization and administration of the Freedmen's Bureau. On May 12th of 1865, Howard was appointed, and he assumed the duties of his office promptly on the 15th and began examining the field of work. A curious mess he looked upon. Little despotism, little despotism, communistic experiments, slavery, peonage, business speculations, organized charity, unorganized almsgiving, all reeling on under the guise of helping the freedman, and all enshrined in the smoke of blood and war and cursing and silence of angry men. On May 19th, the new government, for a government it really was, issued its constitution. Commissioners be appointed in each commissioners were appointed were to be appointed in each of the succeeded states who were to take charge of all subjects relating to refuge. The Bureau invited continued cooperation with benevolent societies and declared it will be the object of all commissioners to introduce practic- uh, practicable, practicable systems of compensated labor and to establish schools for with 9 assistant commissioners. Yes, sir, it's on the chair. It is on the chair where you normally sit at. Thank you. Forthward, 9 assistant commissioners were appointed. They were to hasten to their fields of work, seek gradually to close relief establishments, and make the destitute self supported, act as courts of law where there were no courts, or where Negroes were not recognized in them as free, establish the institution of marriage among ex-slaves and keep records. See that freedmen were free to choose their employers and help in making fair contracts for them. And finally, the circular said, simple good faith, for which we hope on all hands for those concerned, as well as promote the general welfare. Uh-uh. I thought I was, but I got a long way to go, son. No sooner was the work thus stated, and the general system and local organization in some measure begun, then two grave difficulties appeared, which changed largely the theory and outcome of the Bureau work. First, there were the abandoned lands of the South. It had long been the more and less definitely expressed theory of the North that all the chief problems of emancipation might be settled by establishing the slaves on the forfeited land of their masters. A sort of said some. But this poetry, sooner did the proclamations of general amnesty appear than the 800,000 acres of abandoned lands in the hands of the Freedmen's Bureau melted quickly away. The second difficulty lay in perfecting the local organization of the Bureau throughout the wide field of work. Making a new machine and sending out officials of duly ascertained fitness for a great work of social reform is no child's task. But this task was even harder, for a new central organization had to be fitted on the heterogeneous. What is that word? What is heterogeneous? Heterogeneous. 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 I wonder if it's similar to like heterosexual. Heterogeneous. Heterogeneous. Dissimilar in character, composed of different or disparate elements. For a new central organization had to be fitted on a composed of different or disparate elements, on a dissimilar in character or heterogeneous and confused but already existing system of relief and control of ex-slaves, and the agents available for this work must be sought for in an army still busy with war operations. Men in the very nature of the case, ill-fitted for delicate social work, or among the questionable camp followers of the invading host. Thus, after a year's work, vigorously as it was as it was pushed, the problem looked even more difficult to grasp and solve than at the beginning, nevertheless. Three things that year's work did. Well worth the doing. It relieved a vast amount of physical suffering. It transported 7,000 fugitives from congested centers back to the farm, and best of all, it inaugurated the crusade of the New England schoolma'am. The annals of the Ninth Crusade are yet to be written. The tale of the mission that seemed to our age far more quixotic, 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 far more quixotic. Quixotic, far more rashly unselfish, are striving for lofty ideals in a way that is totally unrealistic, or rashly unselfish, far more rashly unselfish than the quest of St. Louis. I think that's what it is. Quixotic, far more quixotic than the quest of St. Louis seemed to his. Behind the mist of ruin and ravin waved the calico dresses of women who dared, and after the hoarse mouthings of The field guns rang the rhythm of the alphabet. Rich and poor they were, serious and curious, bereaved now of a father, now of a brother, now of more than these. They came seeking a life work in planting. New England schoolhouses back of the South. They did their work well. In their first year, they taught 100,000 souls and more. Evidently, Congress must soon legislate again on the hastily organized Bureau, which had so quickly grown into wide significance and vast possibilities. An institution such as that was well nigh as difficult to the ends as to begin. Early in 1866, Congress took up the matter. When Senator Trumbull of Illinois introduced a bill to extend the Bureau and enlarge its powers, this measure received, at the hands of Congress, far more thorough discussion and attention than its predecessor. The war cloud had thinned enough to allow a clear conception of the work of emancipation. The champions of the bill argued that the strengthening of the Freedmen's Bureau was still a military necessity, that it was needed for the proper carrying out of the 13th Amendment, and was a work of sheer justice to the ex slave, at the trifling cost to the government. The opponents of the measure declared that the war was over and the necessity for war measures passed, that the Bureau, by reason of its extraordinary powers, was clearly unconstitutional in time of peace and was destined to irritate the South and pauperize the free